Hello, my name is Jaxon Murnahan. I'm your host for today's edition of St. Joe on the Go. I'm joined by Dr. Dave Lucas. How are you today, Dr. Lucas?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks
I'm
for asking.
glad to hear it.
We have a few questions about what we're doing here for our new communication class at St. Joe. Do you care if I ask you a few things?
Oh, of course. That'd be great.
How long have you been teaching here at St. Joe, and what classes are you teaching now?
Well, thank you. I've been teaching here about 2 years and a half, I guess you say, not quite a half. This is my third academic year here at St. Joe. I teach Spanish, 3 levels of Spanish, and this year, 1 communication class, which is this course. Last year I taught a Latin American Studies class, which was enjoyable too, but this class is a lot of fun.
What made you decide to start teaching this new class?
Well, it was requested. We had a need for public speaking, but I saw this to be broader than that, a broadcasting kind of approach, interviewing. So when you go to take interviews for new jobs, when you get out of here, or when you're going to give interviews at your job, if you're going to take interviews in human resources, for example, whatever, I see communication as a key in families, in marriages, in churches, and all of those events. Communication is a critical component of everything we do. So I thought that would be a good class. Thus, we named this course Communication Today.
So you have a lot of experience with communication, right?
I do. I have a master's degree and a doctorate, and have spent my life as a public speaker and teaching communication for, over 30 years.
Have you had a good time so far teaching us?
Yeah, I like this. I like this course. It's very relaxed, very happy. I think we're all learning a lot, and I think that's what's important.
What are some things that you're preparing or you're looking forward for our class doing?
Yes, good. I wanted to introduce this to you. This is, of course, Jaxon, and he's a 10th grader. But then we've got Evan Aldridge, and today Evan is our floor director. You don't get to see these folk, but they're learning all of these different tactics and techniques. Zane Dressel is here, and Zane is on our board today. He's the one making all this happen, the graphics. He's making make sure that the audio is right and so forth. So that's a big job. And we have, I call her Catalina Neal. Her name is Catherine, but I have all these Spanish names for them, and I can't hardly say their English term. She floor directed and practiced yesterday. And then Georgia Stevenson is here. And Georgia was the one who helped us work out to get these microphones, and I appreciate her family for pitching in to help us have these handheld microphones. One of the reasons is that Georgia wants to hold it, which is okay. That's really great. And Jack Whaley's here. Jack is a great enthusiastic student, and he does a great job. And Bailey Wilds is here. And Darren, for some reason I don't have your name here, but we've got Damien, right? Darian. Okay, I've got all these Spanish names running around in my head, and so we're glad to have him here too. So everyone is going to be involved in doing various aspects of the class, and each one of these young people are going to interview one teacher here at St. Joe. That's what we're going to do first. We're also going to do news shows. If there's anything that we have to tell the community about, this group's going to do that. They're going to write news stories. We're going to learn to, we may do some comedy, but the big thing we're going to do right now, and we'd like for you to watch these programs. If you haven't liked this page, you need to do that. And you also want to get your family and friends to do that, especially all those people here that are involved in the class. You want to make sure that that you like this page so that when it comes to their turn, each one of them is going to host the show. They'll be sitting where I am today, and the professor will be over there, and they'll interview a teacher or somebody that's critical to the school and the school operation. I think even Padre Morris is going to be interviewed. That'll be an interesting one. I'm going to bring him in here. So you'll be wanting to watch all of those things happen.
Do you have anything to tell our viewers about the communication in your life?
Well, I think that all of us need to think about communication. It is the key. It's what makes the world turn. Without communication, listen, if you don't give people information, they will add their own. They'll make stuff up. And so it's always better to be clear and to be communicating. And I want to say that our young people did here at the school, and I had nothing to do this. I'm just bragging on them. They do a quarterly newsletter. I think it's a quarterly newsletter. And it's just fantastic. Really a good job on that. So if you haven't seen that, we may have somebody show that a little bit later and talk about they're putting this newsletter out. There are all kinds of events we'll have coming up that we'll want to cover. So communication is the key to keep everybody informed. And so that's one of the reasons we're going to have this St. Joe on the Go show, is so that you know what's going on here at the school, and you know what these young people are thinking, what they're doing. We may want to do a show, for example, of just thinking about this. They did an ad, or not an ad, a story about the cell phones. We might want to do some interviews and put them together, a compilation of what the young people think about not having the cell phones. We won't do that today, but that's something you can watch for. All of these young people in this class will be on here. You'll get to watch them. You'll get to share their program. That's another key I want to talk about. If you don't share this program, it falls flat. Only a few people see it. But if you take a moment and hit share, it goes out on your profile and goes to a lot more viewers. A lot of them did different programs earlier and talked about themselves and what they're doing here at St. Joe. And boy, a lot of those had great reviews. So we need you to participate and communicate with us. What would you like to see us do?
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Lucas.
My joy.
Once again, if you wouldn't care to like and share our Facebook feed, I'm your host, Jaxon Murnahan, and thank you for watching today.